keep it stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way.
All right, greetings. And today is April 2nd. So if you was around yesterday, it was April Fool's. Today is April 2nd. And you are tuned into Context Matters. And it matters that we have Context Matters. It's important that we keep the show going, putting things into context where necessary. And I just want to say, if you're tuned in to Reggae Global Radio, our flagship station, want to say greetings to you and welcome. If you are tuned in from Best FM 100 in Jamaica, so the time difference is kind of making this gelling, but it's soon balanced out. This happens every year. I've been at it, and usually it's now 5:02 in America, um, and it's 4:02 in Jamaica. So the usual commuting from work at 5, because work is 9 to 5, and going where you're going, you tend to find that you're 1 hour late if you're in Jamaica, and sometimes people just can't keep up with the time, and it will work out. These things work themselves out, so we always put things into context. If you are joining from TikTok, nothing changes. Tap up the screen, share the live, and we're gonna have some conversation. Shout out to moderator Samantha and Tanisha B from TikTok, and here on YouTube, Walking in Divine Purpose. Now, I think I'm gonna start with a strange story, and I'm gonna set up the context for the story I'm talking about. But um, the topic today is changing the narrative by mindset change. So it's progress versus stagnation. And I'm going to tell you why this is important. So I might go off script, but there's a lot of things I'm passionate about. For instance, as I said, today, as I'm talking to you, um, you wake up all the time, and as a member of parliament, intentions are always to make sure that you improve people's lives and make things better, especially for the least among us. So Titchfield is having a health fair, and while this health fair is going on, of course, as a member of parliament, I show up to the gate to gain access to the health fair along with medical supplies, and the security guard, original turnkey gate man, who decides said today him a do for him job. Him not care if a president Trump walk in at the place, but you, Mr. MP, you're not getting cause the place full. Man, not let you in. I say, yeah, but I got medical supplies and I'm not staying. I just need to drop it off. Him say, you're deaf. Me not let you in. So argument done. I just said, okay. And then I said to myself, I said, God, let me never have people in my space that will block my blessing. Let me never be the person that is blocking blessings for other people. Because lo and behold, you're running your business, your organization, and imagine we're in circumstances where customers are always right. You find yourself in a situation where other people are so rude to the people that you want to care for, or the people that's coming to give you the blessings, and lo and behold, blessings get blocked, blessing deferred, medical supplies and all of those things in keeping with a health fair is gone elsewhere. Something as simple as hand sanitizers and anything else that came with the donations that I received today. I brought them back with me, and it just end up not happening because of that. So let us always have an open mind, deal with people with respect, love, and compassion. And you may never know, the minute you want to be rude to somebody, that person could be just tapping you on the shoulder to say, here's $1 billion because God said I must give it to you, and you miss out, or the people around you. So that's the first thing. The second thing is very, 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 very interesting. So let me start by saying the Pennant Foundation, two persons I can big up, Colin Heron and Jermaine Murray. Pennant Foundation, Pennant Hill Foundation. They provided 2 hospital beds. And to MP, these hospital beds are for you. So you can decide the best use of these beds. Bringing the heat is an initiative. Health, education, agriculture, and tourism. So different people all across the diaspora have different skills, and every now and then God sends people to just connect and contribute because they know the plight of the people. They know what's going on with the people, and so these beds come to Jamaica. Beds, $5 million for one of the beds. Striker beds, and you can Google and you can check. Very important. And we're not talk about no comparison to the school bus debacle and all the other scams that take place through government. This don't size up, because guess what? And the government money provide these things to the people, the diaspora and hardworking Jamaicans and even friends of the diaspora come together. And in that vein, these beds were delivered yesterday along with medical supplies. But in the works, and we've been at this for some time now, I must tell you, because I have made it abundantly clear, absolutely clear. Susie, I see you. Big up Susie, because Susie bring the pampers and Susie bring everything from foreign. As barrel comes, Susie drop it and say, we know so the people of Portland need these things, and it never stops. So I'm gonna always say big up all the people in the diaspora that remember ISAT, partner with ISAT. Holy for taps and loves and taps and roses for you, Susie. I see you on the live. Um, Going back to what I was saying now, so a lot of advocacy, a lot of connections. Neil Phillips from the Guide Outreach Foundation comes to Jamaica, and we do our rounds. None such is a huge community that showed me a lot of support. So we went into None Such while the water project is going on. We went, and Neil and myself, we did the non such community, and we gave out care packages and stuff. And he went along with Kern thereafter, and they went into Sherwood Forest and all of that. I'm telling you all of this because thereafter we went on a mission to get more hospital beds, and we've been at it for months. And while this is going on, the Ashe Foundation out of LA, shout out to Dion. She's um, she's shipping desk chairs for a particular school, but I'm not call them name because them done a cuss me. Them school they all vex with me now. And so desk and chairs packed, shipped, getting ready to come, and it's time to ship it. And people are saying, so why doesn't the Ministry of Education um, get these desk and chairs cleared without you have to pay for them? And what's really going on the shipping? Because shipping is very expensive. I must tell you this. So here we are processing how to get these ships, the shipment, whether it be assistance from Food for the Poor. Trust me, I reach out to everybody because, as I say, I don't expect government to do anything for Portland Eastern. Well, of course, they're doing the bypass and displacing 319 persons out of homes and all kind of stuff. But they say it's progress and they say it's improvement. That's what the people want. Leader of dancehall, they play what the people want. And lo and behold, the Mia Sarka Foundation through Carol Picard in a conversation. I'm putting it all out so you know hear it and understand. Um, So Carol is a maroon and she lives in Canada, but she has a huge foundation that comes into Jamaica and they work closely with Chief Corey. Big up to Chief Corey and Anu, and did a lot of work for the a compound community. So if you know anything about me and you know about the Maroon connection, you have a good understanding or a good feel of what I'm talking about. Anyway, in conversation, we spoke about the beds, and her medical mission is huge because she's setting up clinics in our compound, trying to restore St. Elizabeth and all of that. And of course, me always, what about Portland? What about Portland? So make no mistake, Carol has been a huge support of the bringing the heat movement and the improving of Portland infrastructure and for service for the people. So care packages aside, it's structural. It's important that you to ensure that you don't dehumanize people. You have to have the infrastructure to give proper service. So the Miyasaka Foundation, they have donated about 4 trailers to the office of the Member of Parliament to facilitate storage. And the space is important because when you'd have to come to Portland and you'd have to meet people like Susie, people like I said, Neil and Colin, and just it's so many persons. Sometimes it's not on the front of my mind to call everybody name in terms of, even just today, Empress this week just called me and said, listen, I complain about everything like you see me doing here. And Empress straight out of the Bahamas said, I said, the container drop. I hear you talk about Ronnie in the building. Oh baby, baby. Yeah. She said, I hear you talking about there's a thing happening. I don't know. There's so many funerals happening in Portland, and sometimes family says we need a suit to bury our granddad or our uncle or our brother. And I'm telling Empress this, and then Empress give me the call and say, I said, I have some suits for you, brand new, never worn, tags on it. And she just dropped me some suit and men's clothing, whole heap of things. So of course, when I said this now, you know, a phone own. So if you come to the office and you have a function, and God forbid, if your family have to bury you, a suit is there. Hopefully, it can fit you. These are the realities in this country. And Empress, just that's the blessing from God, and how friends of the diaspora and diaspora, they understand the mission. They know what I am here for in Portland in terms of trying to ease the burdens and ensure that the vicissitudes of life is accessible to the people of Portland Eastern. Cause that's my mandate. Me have focus to make sure say we no shame. Susie always we keep up the job because people like you make it possible. So anyway, Carl says, let me call my medical people and see how we can coordinate how to get this container with all of these beds and medical supplies and physiotherapy supplies to Jamaica. And I'm telling you, we're always on the phone. We're always trying to coordinate. Neil is talking to Carol. Neil is talking to Colin. Neil is talking to Dion. I'm talking to everybody, and we're having these conference calls and hoping that we will be the beneficiary of these hospital beds. And lo and behold, hospital beds were granted yesterday at the same time that we were um, issuing the 2 hospital beds that's here in Jamaica. And we're doing the handover to Portland, to Port Antonio. And the nurses already advocate and say, if we're going to the woman's ward, and you know it go already. And one thing about women, them always make sure say them stick together and look out for feed them on first. So the bed they must go in the woman wards. And of course me say, well, You know it go already. If I saw them say I saw it go. But the CEO will decide where she's putting it. But I said there's enough for everybody. Don't fight. And I announced the 10 hospital beds. And I tell you, right after that, get the news. There's some breakdown in communications and there's a withdrawal of support for the shipping of the hospital beds. Of course, I'm a praying man, so I don't panic when things are not working out. And I call Anu, I call people, and of course I go everybody. I went to a function last night where the most honorable PJ Patterson was giving his lecture on constitutionality and the way forward, the next chapter of constitutionality in Jamaica and the Caribbean. And I mention it in front of affluent people, and the donations start to come in. So the breakdown of the conversation is that one of the foundations withdrew support for bringing the hospital beds, um, and no love lost because there's many other projects. So when these things happen, um, understanding the mission that charity is for the people. It's not for self aggrandization or whatever they call that big word. And it's not for self promotion. It's to ensure that the people receive the charity. And that will always be my mandate because people first. We not care when nobody else depend. If the capitalization of the human potential is to ever be possible, you have to make sure that the least among us have what them have. So me no feel so when the security say you can't come in a teach field, either Rasta boy. You hear me? Cause parking lot full. Me not care if you're the MP. I move on because it's not. I know me. You see, my mother, the Reverend Dr. Joan Porteous, and my poopa, Big youth, them never make me want for nothing in our life. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Just to make you know that. So if you see me a beg, our people me a beg for that them vote mean for do. Find a way I sat. Whether government decide that them not gonna support, find a way. So if I reach out to charities, God will make a way, and so it is. So the beds, and I'm putting it out here, and walking in divine. She always put up the GoFundMe. I'm gonna tell you what the reality is. The shipping of the beds that costs the beds, the 10 beds, $5 million each. Damien is not here, but 5 tens is 50. That's $50 million worth of medical bed, striker beds at that for the Port Antonio Hospital. Of course, the shipping and the logistics is going to be um, a little bit technical and expensive. So the shipping to bring it from New York all the way to Port Antonio, 10,000 plus US dollars. Somebody have to pay that. So of course, I'm complaining. Not can't drop the word, but I'm talking to a doctor, a prominent doctor, and he says, "Stop, don't worry about it. God always find a way. If it's one thing I know about you, God always find a way. But I will support. So here's a start. And Radam of the 10, me gone 2,000. And anytime me say that me, and while that was happening, my father was in the earshot of the conversation. And we said to the doctor, I wonder if Big Youth will match it because I don't know if I can ask Big Youth nothing because them man they always go up on tour and them man they think that you me a politician. I can't say daddy beg your money. So me not gonna say nothing, and then Big Youth look at me and say, what go on there, sir? Tell him the story of how me get style about not shipping the beds and this and thing. And he must say, don't worry about that, man. I'm gonna say, yeah, cause the doctor gave him say two, a chew, and give me two more. So we're at four. So I now have to find or come up with another 6,000 US dollars between now and Tuesday, which is the deadline for the extraction of the beds. Anyway, I'm raising it. GoFundMe is there. Only can decide where you want to contribute. I'm gonna play the video of how gratifying it is to see the importance of handing over technological beds in spaces where, remember, I don't, people are gonna vex, but we are a developing country. So when we're modernizing, the hospital beds are for the people. And let me tell you, I know that the God I serve don't fail me. So I keep doing what I'm doing. Plus, um, so somebody say, politician, lawyer, I look GoFundMe, I weigh him depan. I got the person's name is let me call them out. The person's name is Tuka Tuka legit. Tuka legit. So yeah, he's saying politician I beg GoFundMe, what up? But anyway, so you decide. And from there you will see, gonna play the video now so people can get an idea of what I'm talking about, and then we move on and we talk about what we're supposed to, what the topic is today. So yeah, we'll let me conclude thereafter, but this is what happened yesterday in Portland. Good morning all. During my campaign, I had a vision that was known as the heat. I think that any community, anywhere in Jamaica, it cannot function unless particular ministries combine. So when you think of a community, you think health, you think education, you think agriculture, and you think tourism. And when you combine those ministries, naturally the economy will thrive, and certainly, people will feel a sense of the lived experience changing. Now, in relation to these hospital beds, I'm going to tell you I'm very ambitious in terms of what Port Antonio Hospital is to be in the future. Where we are located, we have to have the vision that we can have an A-type hospital. The vision is that we can have our own MRI machine, our own X-ray machines, even if some of these machines are portable. And I saw that when I did a tour in St. Vincent in 2024. So I appreciate if we work together. And this is non-partisan. It's not a political mission. The lived human experience is one where the improvement of our lives is a collective effort. We are going to lead the charge in terms of improving the health system, which it's in dire need of improvement. I'm also pleased to announce, with myself, my two counselors, Dexter Rowland and Wayne Mackenzie, and as you see, supporting staff, that we have 10 additional beds that's coming. And so we as we continue to advocate, so in particular, I want to thank Colin Heron and Jermaine Murray from the Pennant Hill Foundation. They donated these beds. The coordination to get these beds here, which is why I'm dressed like this, you can appreciate that the beds are very heavy. So the logistics from the United States to Port Antonio is a very technical one. I will say to you though that in partnership with Miyasaka Foundation and the CEO Carol Pickard, as well as the Guide Outreach Foundation, and Neil Phillips is probably known to this hospital because they have in the past donated. But these foundations have all combined together, as well as the Ashi Foundation, and they're out of Los Angeles. I just want to say all these foundations are working together to ensure that the vision to changing out the beds, improving the equipment, medical supplies. I did speak to the physio personnel today, and I can say that a part of the equipment that's also coming and supplies, we have crutches that's coming. On behalf of the Office of the Member of Parliament, as well as the Pennant Hill Foundation, we are pleased to hand over these 2 striker beds to the Port Antonio Hospital along with the medical supplies, and hope that it goes a far way in improving the space.
All right, thank you.
We thank you so much, MP Buchanan and your team, for these beds because we really need them, and I'm sure this will improve healthcare and patient care, and our patients will be much more relaxed. Thank you so much on behalf of our staff at Port Antonio Hospital. Thanks a lot. Mwah.
It is really refreshing to be here at the hospital as a member of parliament, Isaac Buchanan, present to the hospital. What I'm most proud is having endorsed him to run as a candidate in the last election, and seeing him campaign and the commitments he gave, and the fact that he wins and is carrying out the very commitments that he gave during his campaign.
As I was saying, having made the announcement of the additional hospital beds, which we now have but need to transport, as in ship and get to Jamaica, we are now in that bind to cover the cost because, as I said, one of the foundations have withdrew the support in relation to the technical support, and that is understandable because the focus was on, as I said, another project, multiple projects happening at the same time. So let us make sure, remember, we always say context matters, that the withdrawing of the support was not the withdrawing of the partnership, because they have decided to focus on getting the desk and the chairs, the educational component of the heat to Jamaica to serve one particular school. So it's just a matter of obligation at a particular time, and we're just going to ensure that no matter what the situation is, we don't let down the people of Portland Eastern. I don't know what's going on in the rest of Jamaica, and I don't know what they're doing, but I am just going to make sure that the promises that I made to the people of Portland Eastern are the ones that, within my capacity, that I can complete. Promises made, promises kept. And further, just to say that it has always been the help of the diaspora, because that's where it is. Look for yourself. Look at the post Melissa reality. It is the diaspora, it is the Jamaicans, it is the people outside of government that had made this possible. This very platform here raised enough money to circumvent and to cover the shortfall when we were being ignored and neglected by government. Something as simple as, from the time was Melissa hit and we went post Melissa, I've been asking for fish wire for the fishermen in Portland Eastern, and not even one roll of wire to date has come into my hands. So we fully understand the politics, and we know how important it is. Politics is to performative sovereignty, performative governance, animal farm mechanisms. But you see, I'm a human rights attorney, I'm a constitutional attorney. I'm saying that because those are the things I respect and govern by, so that persons aren't disenfranchised and left outside. And as I said, if we are not in the business of protecting and elevating the least among us, we're not on the same page. We're not in the same room, and you not like me, they're not like us. I don't put it that way. Or you not like me, and I'm fine with that. So I have a mandate to live up to and a mission to complete. And again, I put it out to the diaspora like I always do. We're going to get these beds here, and you will see the follow-up. I always say God on time, I'm never ever worried, and I'm always confident that the support comes. And look, it's Holy Thursday, so I already know that I walk in the confidence and what I say, we walk in divine purpose. So walking in divine purpose and knowing that it's God on time. We look forward to the support as it comes in, and knowing that at the end of it all, God always finds a way. So blessings to you. Again, even as I'm having this conversation, I can tell you, changing the narrative um, by mindset change is about progress versus or against stagnation. It will be, I don't cast aspersions on people, and I won't say, Lord, the devil is a liar and this and attribute any negativity, um won't attribute any negativity to circumstances, but rather to ensure that we find the true purpose or object and purpose of whatever the mischief we are trying to correct. That is where my brain is when I'm dealing with issues as they come on my plate or at my table. So the Eastern Portland is poised to be the model of how it is that we understand that because we are a developing country, the government will never be able to give attention to everywhere. And so the citizens in particular areas will have to find ways to compensate and make up for the shortfall and the shortcomings of governance. This is just a reality. And so why I say we have to change the narrative is, once we know what the reality is, we can dismiss the performative politics. We can dismiss the propaganda. We can find the anecdote or the antidote for all of the ills and ailments that is happening in our personal space and our community. So nobody can tell us that um, none, still none, Juliet, still no fish wire has come to my hands. And we can find the anecdotes for all of the shortcomings, all the ailments, the sickness that's plaguing the society. We won't cast blame on um, the youth of Jamaica when Melissa is responsible for disaster. We won't shift blame after making promises that we can't keep. You know what's an example? I said earlier that I have 4 trailers at my office. Now, if you know anything about me, you know I'm anti-trailer living. The citizens of Jamaica should never be placed in trailers. I raised it with the Prime Minister and I said we should be giving blocks and things to and building material at this juncture, and invite the community masons and carpenters and skilled laborers. There's a lot of them out there that, and empower the community, contact the hardware store. You don't have to give people money and have them distribute the material and find shut-ins and the lease among us, and let us build back even one room and then leave people to build out. And the model is real. We know how it works. These things can be done. And they said, no, we're going to have prefab homes. I'm going to say trailer. You mean like trailer trash? Like the United States trailer trash living, white trash living? That you want? That's what you want for the people of Jamaica? No, it's prefab homes. And one of the homes, I can tell you, a container that would be like a 2-bedroom kind of container is $3 million, $4 million. So if you can have $4 million to purchase a container to put somebody to live in, Obviously, you could have given them the material to build one room and build out, especially when NHT are sell house for $9 million and $11 million. You're giving people material to build and you make the assessment. So you wouldn't be giving them the money, you're giving the hardware stores are sending out material on a need to need basis so people won't steal and all of them, all of that. No, Juliet, it's not the free fab. It's not pre-slab house like the Matalan house them in a Portland, in a Portmore. We are talking about the container homes, the new container homes that it look fancy, but if only did ever know the story about the three little pigs, I'd tell it, but it's the truth. I man not eat pork. I man not consume the pig. We not gonna have no story about the three little pigs. But if you know the story and you know the analogy, obviously the PM and him crew is the wolf. So certainly for Portland Eastern, at the brick house we have to deal with. So nobody now got trick we and then huff and puff and blow house down until we come off of the land and we will pay you for your prefab. Catch the rake, because right now government announced that them giving 50% discount for you to sell your land, transfer of land down in the parishes where them say mostly affected. Why not? If you can do it for them, why you not do it in the east? So them always leave out the other people. Selective, no equitable distribution of nothing. But I just want people to have an appreciation. So yeah, having said all of that, and we are in April, not a soul get a prefab house from government. Not a soul and not one brick house has been built. The only people who build house is Chief Curry in our compound. Yeah? So just try and know that. And as I said, we're not putting people in trailer park. We're not doing that. Not in Portland Eastern. And remember, people, I've seen some of the comments and they can cuss me, but I am not government. So me just make you know if we did want government and this have nothing to do with Portland. We just are watch, We are watched by and we are do with the diaspora and the other and the first world nations that reach out and give the support. We watch what we are watch. We see the skullduggery. We understand it. Yeah? And that's a matter for you because then said God on time. And we say it. And I'll be right here to say I told you so. But whilst doing that, we're not gonna suffer. And we're not gonna beg. We're not gonna beg and grovel and pretend. We will allow you your performative politics and the fancy PR that people want to do. But the reality is at the end of the day, you see it. Police officer charged as a hitman. Where is the narrative about shootout and escape in nearby bushes and found with weapons? And people are saying that you cannot criticize extrajudicial killings. And people get up and said one of the reasons why the economy is suffering is because of crime. Having said that, crime has gone down so much and Jamaica is safe with a 29% reduction rate in crime. So the 9-day wonder media fanciful behavior is a reality. And so you're still blaming crime. You say you lock up everybody. You illegally convict people. You commit a crime, breach constitutional rights, do all that you can to destroy people's lives. You name them things that they are not, and you use state resources to destroy the lives of people. And because people form opinions through social media. And they say, opinions are like, I don't know if I can say that on radio, but everybody have them. Yeah? But constructive criticism, context and critical thinking, it's a rare commodity. If you're not in spaces like a space like this that actually teaches people how to think critically, if you're not in a space where you are allowed to assess the realities and follow the historical context, people will take you for idiot. And people will always use ad hominem and attack the person and the messenger for calling out the truth. And then they love the distractions. They love the distractions. And they have affinity to selectively find things to talk about. For instance, I went through last week a full week, feel like a full week of cursing that I, as a criminal lawyer, criminal defense lawyer, who uses the Constitution as my weapon of choice to ferret out illegal convictions and wickedness from the justice system against any citizen. Yeah? And when you do that, people vex and say you shouldn't be a lawyer. You shouldn't come. You use your law and let out criminals, and not realizing that when you make comments like that, you are the scourge of the earth that have no respect for the Constitution. And if you don't respect the Constitution, you are the filth, the product of a turned condom. That's what you are. You are the mistake that got away when your parents was having a nice time. That's what you are. And I'm saying that without any apology. For here's the reason. If our justice system is to function, if it is to work, then let me tell you something. The judges who sit at the Court of Appeal and the Privy Council, and the Supreme Court and the Parish Court, so much so because I know that human beings are in fact are not immune from error. The justice system has a tier system, right? And that system allows for review. So when you go up from Supreme Court and Parish Court, where you have single judges, and you get to the 3-panel judges, and you get to the 5 when you go to the Privy Council, then naturally, where great minds come together and there are sometimes consensus ad idem, agreement, a meeting of the minds and agreement, then you can ferret out issues. And once it is grounded in law, and once the Constitution that says you are cloaked in the presumptions of innocence, and that due process is for all, due process being a fair trial, right? And so if a process takes place with an intention to breach your constitutional rights, which is for everybody, then you must get a remedy. And people are upset when the justice system work. The same people that rejoice when Joel and Silvera gets his sentence. The people that rejoice when Noel Maitland gets his convictions and sentenced to whole heap of years, them feel good, they salivate. They feel as it is reminiscent the way how they carry on with the keyboards. You can tell from how they respond when people are made to suffer, and how they rejoice, reminiscent of colonial masters and the treatment of slavery. When punish is meted out against somebody, they want it to be retribution, Moses law kind of punishment. If the judge could have given somebody 250 years, and when the person dead and born again, the police come put on handcuff and throw them back in the same dirty, nasty prison where we call the place where we house human beings. May I talk it in us so to understand what is going on when I'm talking about changing the narrative. If people could have their ways from the keyboards, social media justice, then everybody with them no like would have their prison. Not because of the justice system working, but because they're skewed moral turpitude, the very fabric of society which is rotting because the people's moral compass is shattered. And so, let me tell you, somebody said we must go drink water. Let's go tell me so you drink sugar and water. I just want people to understand this, because I'm speaking of a particular case. It is the matter of Tesha Miller and regardless of how people feel from hearsay, from things heard that cannot be proven in a court of law, and political campaigns to carry out and disparage. Let me share one fun fact for people to understand. During the trial, and I never forget, a juror, very disrespectful little girl, came onto the panel, and Mr. Bert Samuels wanted her immediately removed because of her disrespect before the trial even started. And not going to say anything beyond that because I believe that the justice system cannot work without a jury system. But that's why you have a strike. So when you see somebody that you know cannot perform the duties of a jury, because not everybody, sometimes I know everybody can sit on jury. Biased people cannot sit on the jury, whether implicit or explicit. And she wasn't allowed to be removed. But it's not only that. During the trial, and these are issues that were never ventilated. During the trial, let me tell you something. A lizard, if you never know anything about lizard, we're not going to get too much of that, but a lizard went into the jury box. A lizard, me think them did say lizard did dead. Lizard show up in a Tesha Miller court and go in at the jury box. It was one piece of passa. If Andre did there, would have said what a bangarang. But that the lizard they were them did say missing, and where Vanessa Bling did say did try robber coming at the people them courthouse. So it was so funny. And the jury, one of the jurors say, "Yes, Lord, I hope you this." And them done say me walk over here, so kill them dead. I remember them days them was nobody. It was just a little. I was such a nobody that the judge said, "Who are you? Who are you?" But anyway, lizard show up in a Tesha Miller court, and the court ready for run out. Cause everybody said, everybody in here, judge, everybody must get a sore foot. And court adjourn and everybody run out and the media run down and say lizard show up. Lizard never missing. I say, yes, him. I say, this is the sign. I saw the sign. And I opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. No one's going to drag you up. Lizard coming out of court. But anyway, so, shout out Kyra Jones. I'm free now. Free at last, and God Almighty, you free at last. Then couldn't hold it down, my brother. You need to get one visa now and go on a foreign and thing and put out a tune, or you and St. John can just go and run the place. You see it, my G. All right. Anyway, next thing I was saying, so Lizard stops the trial and everything, and then the next time, no, we know the ball out and context matters, but it's a ball out moment. The next time though, the jury say these are things that when I tell you that Jamaica is not a real place, because when this happened, I say, guess what? This case are definitely not gonna nowhere further, because after that, the jury makes the most unusual requests. And when I tell you, this request is one that offends human dignity, because the one person that was emotional support and proof that your human existence is a reality. The gentleman was going through a trial where his freedom and liberty was at stake. His mother, his number one moral support, showed up every day that the trial was going on. And if she were alive today, she would be at the trial happening now in the home circuit. And the jury requested that they didn't want to see her face because they thought she was working over. And the request was granted. They asked senior counsel to have her sit behind the jury box so they didn't have to look at her face. And such a request was granted because they took discomfort in seeing the man's mother. And I look and I say, you see what Jamaica go on to? Because you see, if somebody they tell me, say them no want to see my mother face, must say, eh, Jamaica would have talked about me, you know. Cause you think you can just diss all my mother. You just diss my mother. I'm gonna look on you and make you know, say you're like you pretty. I want to style my mother when me come out of. No man. We go about anyway, this is another conversation. So these things are nothing to do with the factual issues. And when we talk about human dignity and respect, humanity, basic human dignity. And I can tell you that if what I know of the Constitution, that was a horizontal breach of the Constitution and discriminatory at the highest form. And at that time, I could have tell you that in and of itself, everything else was just performative. There's no possible way that a fair trial could have taken place. And I'm gonna just leave it at that. That one story that I have to tell you of how unfortunate it is. And no matter who it is. So when you come to the table expecting to get a fair trial from a jury of your peers, and the people start to show you, say them and your peers, them have personal issue with you so much that if them could have asked the judge to remove you and give you the death penalty, you would have get it. Cause them not care what I say about the evidence. Them just know so them not like you and them not like your mama. Them not want your mama in the court. Them not want to see your mama face. Because Lizard show up in the court. Lizard was not dead. Lizard did in the court. We all saw him. Yeah. So anyway, that being said, let's just go to the appeal. We don't need to go to the niceties. There's a legal arguments and legal technicalities are just that. Sometimes when they combine, the issue also become more technical. So you can't just be a fly-by-night lawyer. You can't just wake up and regurgitate. You have to push the lines and you have to invite where the competence lies in the court of appeal when a meeting of the legal minds. I mean, I'll just talk us as lawyers. I talk about the judges who really sit down and in their opulence try to mitigate the issues. And don't get me wrong, they can get it wrong. Where human beings are infallible. So sometimes you agree or you don't agree. But in this particular situation, there is a serious issue and a question that I am constrained to say must be answered at the highest level. And we are talking about accessory before and after the fact. In this particular situation, accessory after the fact, the conviction was quashed and a judgment of acquittal entered. It had to be entered because the man had spent all of the time that he was given to serve. So it can't rub out, it can't take back. And all him get is a sorry for a wrongful conviction where he served all the time. And nobody is saying, let's write him a check of $50 million because we have him before the court. And I mean, I don't need to tell you what the prices for legal fees are. So me saying $50 million is of no moment. But yeah, so let's talk about that. Accessory after the fact, conviction quashed, judgment of acquittal entered. But guess what? Max out. If a digital them would I say you're not on a credit left, you use up all of your anytime minutes. You're not getting no overtime. Well, you get you top up to get more overtime minutes and little more data. That's what happened to that count. And when you look at a seminal judgment from the president of the Court of Appeal on retrial, that issue is properly ventilated. The former president of the Court of Appeal, who, let me tell you, if ever I sit at somebody's feet, Justice Brooks, was when he sat on the bench, a legal mind that Jamaica will forever be grateful that he sat in the Court of Appeal. Yeah? He could tell you whether a conviction could stand or not. And if him get it wrong, him say, that's not fair. You never raise it properly and make you know, say, know your company that you keep him, because if you want to be a great legal mind, you can't anchor around people when on a substance and ruby loose. But anyway, right away, when you check the issue, is a question to be answered. When the president of the Court of Appeal, the current president, dealt with the issue of retrial, the court has pretty much set a standard that, boy, really after 8 years, delay is so horrible in a trial for a retrial that it ought not to be done. It would almost amount to a miscarriage of justice. So to say in the interest of justice a retrial ought to be ordered is another question. But I'm just raising that to say the nature of a retrial is that it should be a do-over and its elements exacting. So the accessory after the fact won't be led. And what you have is a question to be answered. And I think that the Privy Council should address this question as well. Now imagine, in circumstances where we have Section 34 and Section 35 of our Criminal Justice Administration Act, it speaks of the accessory, and it speaks of instances where you can try an accessory before the fact, before you find the principal guilty, or you can try the accessory before the fact at the same time as the principal. What the act has made clear to me in clear language, and this is why it is to be considered, is whether you can try an accessory before the fact substantively, especially if the prosecutor did not indict substantively after the principal has been found not guilty. And the answer to that I would humbly submit is no. And so I'm just putting to the public, because the public love to try cases in the public. And the court of public opinion is where the brightest lawyers are found. Because they not even watch Law and Order, they not watch Suits, they not watch Lincoln Lawyer, they not watch Boston Legal, them not even watch Matlock and Perry Mason. But let me tell you, when them pronounce, them are judge, jury, and buckle sapper. Well, I gotta just make you know that. So anyway, that is just one issue. And so I'm only raising this because of the jurisprudence, because I can tell you, I'm not a prophet, but I promise you, in relation to that case, Mana ask Christ, no retrial can go on and it be successful. It will be a waste of public money, and the public should definitely be worried, especially, you see, the people of Portland Eastern that can't get one roll of fish wire should be like, there's no way I gotta take up my juicy beef patty money and take up for go try a thing, because a beer try a thing. But this I got up on YouTube and people can watch it, that I'm only addressing the jurisprudence aspect, advancement of our jurisprudence, advancement of Caribbean law, because the Caribbean people is who I care about. That is my origin right now. So I want people to have an appreciation of that aspect of it. So we're going to take the break right now, and we'll come back because we have some housekeeping matters to do in terms of the sponsors. So now watch, just stick around, and I'm going to replay some of the things that's happening.
Right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way.
Good morning, all. During my campaign, I had a vision that was known as the heat. I think that any community, anywhere in Jamaica, it cannot function unless particular ministries combine. So when you think of a community, you think health, you think education, you think agriculture, and you think tourism. And when you combine those ministries, naturally the economy will thrive, and certainly, people will feel a sense of the lived experience changing. Now, in relation to these hospital beds, I'm going to tell you I'm very ambitious in terms of what Port Antonio Hospital is to be in the future. Where we are located, we have to have the vision that we can have an A-type hospital. The vision is that we can have our own MRI machine, our own X-ray machines, even if some of these machines are portable. And I saw that when I did a tour in St. Vincent in 2024. So I appreciate if we work together. And this is non-partisan. It's not a political mission. The lived human experience is one where the improvement of our lives is a collective effort. We are going to lead the charge in terms of improving the health system, which is in dire need of improvement. I'm also pleased to announce with myself, my two councillors, Dexter Rowland and Wayne Mackenzie, and as you see, supporting staff, that we have 10 additional beds that's coming. And so we as we continue to advocate, so in particular, I want to thank Colin Heron and Jermaine Murray from the Pennant Hill Foundation. They donated these beds. The coordination to get these beds here, which is why I'm dressed like this, you can appreciate that the beds are very heavy. So the logistics from the United States to Port Antonio is a very technical one. I will say to you though that in partnership with Miyasaka Foundation and the CEO Carol Pickard, as well as the Guide Outreach Foundation, and Neil Phillips is probably known to this hospital because they have in the past donated. But these foundations have all combined together, as well as the Ashi Foundation, and they're out of Los Angeles. I just want to say all these foundations are working together to ensure that the vision to changing out the beds, improving the equipment, medical supplies. I did speak to the physio personnel today, and I can say that a part of the equipment that's also coming and supplies, we have crutches that's coming. On behalf of the Office of the Member of Parliament, as well as the Pennant Hill Foundation, we are pleased to hand over these 2 striker beds to the Port Antonio Hospital along with the medical supplies, and hope that it goes a far way in improving the space.
All right, thank you very much.
We thank you so much, MP Buchanan and your team, for these beds, because we really need them, and I'm sure this will improve health care and patient care, and our patients will be much more relaxed. Thank you so much on behalf of our staff at Port Antonio Hospital. Thanks a lot. Mwah.
It is really refreshing to be here at the hospital as a member of Parliament, Isaac Buchanan, present to the hospital. What I'm most proud is having endorsed him to run as a candidate in the last election, and seeing him campaign and the commitments he gave, and the fact that he wins and is carrying out the very commitments that he gave during his campaign.
Isaac Buchanan here, MP for Portland Eastern, and today we're doing a road assessment update. We started with Manning's Avenue, and let me tell you, this road has been repairing so long that happy to say that it's a part of the patching program. Just stay tuned to see what that looks like. Two significant churches are on this road, and I must tell you this, the residents are very happy that this is happening at this time, and I see you in church. Itch, patch, snitch, snatch. We are now on Red Hazel Road, and you can see the work speaks for itself, right? In Portland, you have to be struggling with rainfall and deterioration of roads at the same time. So the National Works Agency and Parish Council, where it's necessary, with a lot of advocacy, moving to the spaces where these roads are being repaired. Just stay tuned and watch the ride. So we're in Tom's Hope, Sandy River. We're about 35 plus farmers, registered farmers, utilize this road, and you can see the condition of the road. Very significant. It's one of the largest farming communities in Portland Eastern.
If the uplift for the road coming on right now would be a blessing from the sky. The road is very bad at this time, and a whole heap of farm around on the end, sir.
These registered farmers, they serve the community, they serve Portland Eastern and the rest of Jamaica. So the advocacy right now is to ensure that this road is fixed so that these registered farmers can have ease of access to their farms. You can see the banana and the different crops, very important. For those of you a long time you know taste a piece of planting, you know what I talk about. I'm aware of the other places in Fairy Hill and Mansion Hill that need some attention. Commodore is one such space. Sherwood Forest is getting the attention that it needs, but different from the roads that are on the Spark program. I know there are 4 active roads. Shout out to Mr. Kong, right now the liaisons officer, who is doing his thing to ensure that these roads get to completion along with the relevant authorities. We're just going to continue to do it because, as I said, road is a right. You're supposed to be not having to argue and beg for roads, and we're getting there one road at a time. Watch the ride. Greetings, and welcome back to the second hour of Context Matters. If you're joining from Reggae Global Radio, welcome. If you are joining from Best FM 100, big up yourself. YouTube, Walking in Divine Purpose is showing you the GoFundMe. And if you're on TikTok, continue to tap up the screen and share the live. We are talking about changing the narrative by mindset change. If you change the mindset, you will be able to change the narrative. And I'm not talking about propaganda. I'm not talking about just throwing crazy stuff out like JLP and PNP working for England and Israel. So you want Trump vexed because if you're saying they're working for Israel and England, what? Who is Trump? You're just going to diss Trump like that? Let me see your name so Trump can hear about you. All _man 107. Careful. Trump, lock the account there, Trump. Anyway, so you do get a sense of what's being said in terms of the realities of the society. It's a simple thing. You will hear me say every conversation I have about capitalizing on the human potential. So everything that's happening, human rights will play a significant role. So if people want to say that unemployment is low and employment is high, what are the categories of jobs and how is economic viability and economic stability? And economic stability is, according to Maslow, transcending the physical needs and the physiological needs. So if you're not transcending food, clothes, and shelter, nobody should be having conversations about economic stability to the common man. This is a reality, And so we talk about communities, expanding communities and improving, but we see all of this infrastructure improvement with zero improvement to schools and hospitals, as well as services to ensure that the people are protected in such a way that their lives are elevated. There are countries where poverty is on a mission to be eradicated in such a way that the only way you're poor is if you're worthless. No systematic poverty lines. So that in countries where people are poor, but they can come to Jamaica and live like kings and queens. Hence why a woman could be so poor in a first world country and say, boy, let me go to Jamaica and find me a king because I can give him services and bring him to foreign. So I'm not that poor. Just when I think I'm poor in a first world country, I'm richer than everybody in Jamaica. That kind of mindset, that kind of thought process. But the reality is that as we're looking at this, we have to think about what is significant to improving people's lives. And so again, I was saying earlier to in the first hour that healthcare is going to be the aspect of governance that changes the way we move forward. There's this whole narrative, and I discussed it at length, how the public outcry about crime selectively, the very public outcry about crime is the same. The Minister of National Security says that there is a correlation between extrajudicial killings and crime reduction. That is, if you murder the youth of Jamaica who are criminals who challenge the police, then you won't have to worry about citizens dying. That's the what you'd call the argument that is deduced or induced, argument by deduction or induction, and what the data shows. Totally disconnected from the lived human experience. And they'd say crime is down, your government is working for you. Big up yourself, Extra Lesson boss, the original JPS boss. I him get the $150 million and by himself turn on back all of the light in a Western Jamaica. Not true, Extra Lesson boss. Anyway, but looking at both of looking at the narrative and then hearing the Prime Minister complain that crime is a scourge that prevents the potential, capitalizing on the potential of Jamaica, when the potential of Jamaica is the human capital. So if you're murdering them rather than corrective measures, then the potential will be 6'6". And then you have to turn around and complain that women are not having enough babies, so we can't kill them fast enough. It is the King Herod method. These things are in the Bible. So what is currently there? So when you hear the complaint about we won't care, we're gonna get rid of them being the youth of this country, that once they classify you as a criminal, because I was prepared today to show you guys videos of operations by the police to go and ferret out persons who are before the court, who can be easily accessed because they're going to court. Having lost a client this year, his name was Sudane Downer, who was reporting for over a year and never breached reporting conditions, and went to report, and a special ops team followed him home, asked him where he lived. He pointed where he lived, and they killed him in the morning. This was a month before his matter was to be dismissed before the court. Dismissed because I know I gave a powerful application that would have caused them being unable to proceed. That's what I say, because they murdered him before, so we're never gonna know. So do that and beat me. Anyway, and the narrative is that he he had his weapon and all of this. Man on bail, reporting all the time, and then these are the narratives that they put out. But then we have to deal with and remind you, let me make something absolutely clear so people understand. The Jamaica Constabulary Force have some of the most ambitious and people with the highest amount of integrity. You can't even, when them stop you and I write you a ticket, you can't even look upon them and say, take a thing, man, because I can't manage that ticket here. You still get the ticket. And if you push your luck, you're going to end up charged for bribing the police at discretion by the officer sometimes. Why some people not gone up in the truck back. So let us not paint with a broad brush, but to understand what I'm saying, because the evidence is empirical. Oh, in the news this week, there is a police that is a hitman and murdered 3 young people, 2 of them absolutely young, who was not criminals, who and one of the basis for him being charged and the justice system, he will be put before the justice system. And I would say that all extrajudicial killings should be put before the criminal justice system and be treated in the same manner as the public. Where somebody is died in circumstances that are suspicious, the court is to ventilate the matter. There is no, and the Privy Council said it in Iron Clegg, there's no special protection or procedure for people who murder. There are defenses, partial and complete. Self-defense is a complete defense. A partial defense is provocation. The whole of Jamaica know about provocation now because that matter was dealt with by our Chief Justice in a plea agreement that just took place recently. I don't need to repeat that, but to have people understand what is going on. And we treat people's time and we treat people. Let me share something with you. Today. I know you can tell me, like I would hear, what can go so. Unu can tell me if this can go so. A British citizen, a man from England, happens to be a Rasta man. So again, I'm pointing out the discrimination that takes place in this country. He's a Rasta man in Portland, right here in Portland, on the beach, Winifred Beach. And police are look for Haitian, not just anybody, but Haitian. And so this British Rasta man is on the beach. Surfer type dude, but British. So I can't say cowabunga, like the Ninja Turtle, Michelangelo. But they stop him and they want them check him documents because they want some Haitian for deport. So mind you, Parliament now open for me to ask the question to the relevant minister whether Jamaica has signed an agreement to take foreign nationals and house them in prisons, an agreement with the United States. So not deported Jamaicans, but deporting foreign nationals from other countries, from America to Jamaica, and whole heap of money in that type of bill. In that type of business now, because it is the movement of chattel, human chattel. Mind you, the United Nations said last week that the greatest crime against humanity is the slave trade, the African slave trade. So to see any nation, especially led by a black man, accept deportees that are not of this country would be the heights of hypocrisy. Hypocrisy in that Haitians, when they come to Jamaica, before they get a hearing for political asylum, then put them up in the truck back in the back of the plane or in the boat and drop them back to Haiti. Jamaicans cannot stand, and not Jamaican people, which is why when there was a political campaign that said choose Jamaica, it never meant choose the people. Because Jamaican people don't have a problem with Haitians. Jamaica has a problem with Haitian, as in the government. So as them see a Haitian, them take them up and them dash them out of the country. So you would know my surprise when I'm randomly in court today. And let me tell you, I have to share this with you. When me go in a Port Antonio court, I run up the stairs. This is a secret, so I'm not tell the people of Portland this. I run go into the courtroom and try to do my matter because you see, yeah, you ever there one stoplight and somebody there at the window and like them want to wipe your glass and beg a thing or them just beg a thing and you just hold your head straight. Cause you know if you and them I make four, you have to go get them. I saw it go. I'm going to the court. If my I ever make four with a defendant, and me I got on the lawyer. Because they're my constituents, I can't tell them no. So the judges even laugh at me in the court because them know. The judge say, defendant, you have a lawyer? No, ma'am. Judge looks at me, and I look at her, and we look at them, and they look at me, and then I say, oh, lady, I'm constrained to say. And then I turn the lawyer. And I saw them do me in Portland. And so I'm there, sitting, waiting on my matter, and them call up this case. And the man is there. And they start to talk about the case. And I'm there minding my business, looking in my phone, dep on TikTok, answer two message, trying not to hear the case. And then the case just went horribly wrong. The man from Pika say, yeah, in the day, upon the beach, and we look at him, and he looked at me, and we say, where your ID? And he say, I don't have ID. And we say, check your ID. And he says, I'm here for my grandpa. And he said, who is your grandpa? And he said, I'm trying to find my grandpa. He said, where are you from? And they say, here what? Take it up into the truck back, and we're ready to deport him. So they take this man off the beach, a British citizen, a Commonwealth citizen, who they said overstayed. Now, I know a lot of British people, and sometimes they overstay the date in their passport. But it's a formality within the act where you can just go to Pika. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
British person?
Yes,
it's correct?
It's correct.
It's correct? Come closer and tell them it's correct.
He's absolutely right.
And you overstay, right?
Overstay.
And then you just go up to Pika,
Yeah.
and they put a stamp in your book.
Exactly.
Because they're there not trouble the king's subject. Because the last...
$10,000 or something.
And you pay $10,000 and them stamp your book and you're good again. Imagine, picture you deporting a British citizen back to England because they overstayed. But the last time I checked, isn't there like a British citizen in our parliament right now?
Right. So
And isn't it like the minister of water and those things? Yeah. Anyway, you get the point. But I don't want nobody to say I'm throwing shade. But anyway, so I got up and I said, my lady, I'm constrained to say that I'm appearing amicus in this matter. Amicus meaning you're a friend of the court, but it sounds bright. And I said, I'm appalled by the facts of this case. How can you dare want to send a British subject and deport them back to England, a first world country where there is Leicester Square, where you can get pancakes and shop at the iPad store and get Apple products and a watch and all of that. And if it's too cold, you'll catch a cold and it snows there. How dare you? Especially when the Privy Council is in Westminster Square and our final court is in England. How dare you try to deport a British man? And then the man said, yeah, no, me just want to lock him up a horizon, because him family I got buy him a ticket because we deport him. And then I heard the Sean Paul song. No, you deport them. No, deport them. But anyway, obviously, if you deport him, I'm going to have to sing the Buja song. Things change. You don't see that life is hard. Get deported from Jamaica back to yard. England. I spend my money down abroad. But anyway. And so I'm like, Judge, let's be for real now. This is embarrassing. You went out looking for Haitians. We know the Jamaica government don't like Haitians. And you see a man and because him have dreadlocks. I'm really offended. Like, I'm making light of it, but I'm offended. Because you really lock him up because him have dreadlocks. Because you know them now. You know, this government not like Rasta people. Yeah, they don't want them in the schools. They don't like them. Forget what Babsy said. Babsy like them, but the rest of Jamaica don't like them. Even though the Prime Minister brother have dreadlocks, them still don't like Rasta. So anyway, I make the bail application, call his family because he says, I'm looking for my grandfather. So he went on a mission like the book The Alchemist. So he left England, went to Florida. When he got to Florida, he heard that his grandfather left Florida and now he's in Jamaica, and his grandfather's in Portland, and he's half white, so he's rich, and then his last name is Hall, and he's like, got to find all the family that's Hall, and he goes to Roots 21, and he says, I'm Hall, you're Hall, we're all Hall. And then they're like, yeah, and then Roots 21, if you don't know, Roots 21, and they come to Portland, you have to go to Roots 21. It's like one of the fanciest hip spots where you go to and stuff like that. So then Peter Hall is like, yeah, we might have the same granddad. It's like, we're family. And it's like, yeah. And then Peter gone to Ochi, so he can't come to court. So the judge has to detain the man, but not take him to Horizon. So then I have to go back to court. But then I'm still confused that you're trying to deport a British citizen and you can't even get constitutionality right. The government can't decide whether we're leaving out the Privy Council, because the Privy Council, let me tell you a secret, they don't want us there. They don't even want to hear our cases. It's free work. Nobody wants to do free work. Trust me, I can tell you, nobody wants to do free work. But anyway, and so are we going to decide constitutionality, or are we going to sound stupid deporting British citizens, Commonwealth citizens out of Jamaica when the Constitution treats them as if we're all one? You get what I'm saying? And anyway, having said all of that, I started to think about our Constitution. I started to think, because our final court is in England. The Privy Council advises. I'm listening to the Most Honorable P.J. Patterson last night in his lecture, and he says, the Privy Council, they don't really make law in Jamaica. They advise the king. They don't care what's happening in Jamaica. They hear all the nonsense that takes place in Jamaica, and they said, we heard the nonsense, and we have advised the king that it was nonsense, and we're sending it back to Jamaica. We don't care what happens in Jamaica. We only happen to hear it because if a man in England breathes clean air, and then we say the air is polluted in Jamaica, we may pollute our air because our king is your king. And he's your king because the Constitution said so. And then everybody's like, what? And I'm like, what? And I'm like, thought of the guy. And I'm like, because he's a Rasta and his grandfather is Hall and his grandfather is rich. So he's like the prodigal grandson looking for his grandfather. And they're trying to deport him to prevent him from getting his land and his riches. Anyway, you get the point. And so when we think about constitutionality and we start to think about discrimination, because can you imagine being on a beach as a tourist and a police say, let me see your passport, you overstay, I'm going to deport you? Let me tell you why I'm raising this. There is a recent push to just be discourteous to British citizens. It's almost like there's some unofficial, under the table conspiracy to ensure that you prosecute them, and then when you convict them, you give them a lot of time so you can abuse them and bring them trauma reminiscent of slavery, like reverse nationism. Yeah, that sounds bright. Reverse nationism. So where third world nations start to say, how can we treat first world citizens and give them a taste of our medicine? And so we prosecute to show a message that we are civilized and we take our laws serious, when our laws, when certain class of people flout it, it shows it is a joke. So selective prosecution, selective nationism, Makita. I feel very bright talking about that. I just coined that term by myself. I'm going to write a book about selective nationism. Yeah, but anyway, and just wondering if it's something that we should assess, because there's a sense of courtesy that should happen, because remember, one of our products is tourism. So I'm always thinking about the heat and understanding, if we're going to make an economy thrive, we need to have health care facilities. We may have medical tourism. We need to have education, a program where people would want to come to Jamaica and educate themselves and spend their US and encourage the universities to have exchange programs that's meaningful. Music is a part of the tourism aspect of it. Our artists, whether they know or not, they are just a part of the tourism product. That is why Bob Marley allow people to want to have dreadlocks. So when you saw the young man, he looks like Bob Marley's son. He's a mulatto. So clearly, either his mom or his dad is white, and so he has his dreadlocks well matted, looking like a surfer kind of thing. And he looks like he listens to Bob Marley. That kind of thing. No fashion locks like one lawyer boy, whatever says a fashion lock. I know me, I know the only lawyer who wear dreadlocks, but I know one, I don't know me looking at the parliament next time. anyway, so big up Terry Long. It was just a joke. Don't come for me. And then thinking about it and saying that we ought to have courtesy to our guests, and when things are unfortunate, we don't embarrass ourselves by trying to put them in the dirty prison them where we have. That is not fit for human incarceration. And I'm going to always sound very, very disgruntled and vulgar when I speak about the reality of our prisons until we fix it. Yeah? Because a part of rehabilitation is to teach the citizen who runs afoul of the law to respect himself and others, right? And in this situation, the man was just in a state of being. He was existing. He was enjoying nature. He was enjoying Jamaica. And you disturb and interrupt that to try to turn ordinary citizens and no ordinary visitors into criminals. For what purpose? When you have the real thing. And then I can speak more on other things because there's also a drive where, listen, man, if you have to destroy people's life to get a promotion, I better you go find a next work. May I call it out, you know? If you anywhere you're there, you have to destroy people's life just for a promotion. It's a go turn around upon you, you know. Ask Kamala Harris. She was a prosecutor one time and she sent more black men to prison than white people could ever do. And then she turned around, never know one day she would run for president. And she couldn't get one black man to vote for her. Because she was the vehicle and the vessel to destroy Afro-American males. And when the time came for elevation, she wanted them to vote for her and they didn't. I'm just putting it out. So you see, one of the things is to always exercise compassion and empathy. Always. And don't just think that it is on the surface. So sometimes when people are choosing the lesser of two evils, they make the assessment. And I always tell you, there is a poem. It's called When They Came for Us. So when they used to come on the beach and run off the Rasta man them and the renter dread them, the tourists say, oh my God, they're keeping it safe for us. No, the Rasta man and the tourists, them not up on the beach because them no want Jamaican people on the beach. Them no want them in a blue lagoon. Them no want them nowhere. They don't want the citizens to be on the beach. And then now, them run out of them people, you know, and so them coming for the tourism now, so the tourists now. So when them see a tourist and him look like him too close to Jamaica, because them not like themselves, you know. They don't like themselves. They're now going for the tourists and they're now trying to, now it has become clear that tourism in Jamaica, if you're not white, you might find yourself in problems. Because police want promotion. Well, that's a new thing. And so, of course, I'm the spokesperson on human rights. So don't think I just chatting because I don't have nothing for chat about. And I'm going to write to the commissioner of police. And I'm going to say this is something that you have to look into because it may prove to be embarrassing. And it's not just a consulate call, it's a human rights call. It's a type of conversation that makes you wonder about freedom of movement and technicalities in the law, the object and purpose of the policy that you are trying to enforce. Because I can see, although I don't agree, that if you allow the Haitians to just jump on a boat and just pull up in Jamaica, pretty soon the Jamaican can barely get land for themselves, much less to have not people from another country, especially if the country is impoverished. But you see, we don't know the history because the Haitians were the first to get them independence. Them beat Napoleon's army. Tough chat, you know. So, the history of the Caribbeans, only the Maroons beat, next to Steven Seagal, beat up white boy Acha and take back land for themselves and say, lift up out of this. Yeah, I think that's what they said. I gotta ask Kojo when the time comes. Anyway, but also, I'm sure Jean Paul and Pierre and them all over in Haiti decide that them take back them thing from this little midget Napoleon think him did I go run things. And them just the big Haitian, big African slave make a midget go on like them want to run things and them just beat up all of them. Napoleon was a midget. We're not calling people that in time. We're talking about Napoleon. That's why they call it it's the Napoleon complex. Yes. Short man's complex. And Haiti became an independent country. What that meant? It meant that if you were a slave anywhere in the Caribbean and you run to Haiti, they say you get automatic citizenship and you're free. I can take it one step further. If you were in North Carolina and you jump into the water and you swim and reach a Haiti, you have to swim good. That's all I know. But if you do it and you reach to Haiti, you are a free black man. So there was a time in the history of the world where, as a black man, a free place for you if it wasn't to go back through the Middle Passage and end up back in Africa and possibly get recaptured. It was Haiti. So how are we so short-lived? How is the memory so short that years later, something doesn't ignite in us to say, you know something? Our Caribbean brothers and sisters are us. We are them. I'm sure on any given day in any Caribbean island in the summer, when you're not listening, your mother go take off the slippers and give a proper roasting. Notwithstanding corporal punishment is illegal. And it don't matter whether Spanish or English or Trinidadian or Guyana or the variances in the language, them still will tell you go out and pick the switch so them can beat you with it. The culture is one and the same, the melting pot that is the Caribbean. So I wonder, and so Norman Manley, and I'm speaking because I was at the lecture last night, the Norman Manley lecture at the Norman Manley Law School. And when PJ was talking, and he reminded us that's Norman Manley, these are the forefathers of the Caribbean, you know. And to listen to one of the last of the living Mohicans to be able to say that. He said you can swim together or drown as an individual. Paraphrasing. Yeah? That's profound, you know. So it says that how we treat our neighbors, how we behave when we are united, Caribbean united, rather than how we feel to try to be individuals, no team spirit. Probably what true we not a team spirit, we not gonna go a World Cup. I true me love Adidas, why I'm gonna beg a refund for the jersey them when me buying with my enough self, but I gonna buy a Jamaican jersey and now no wear them now a World Cup no start yet. It burn me. But that's another conversation. JFF, me want back my money. But anyway, because it was a free and Babsy never said none give me. But anyway, me soon telling you who give me the jersey and me soon big up who give me my jersey. But me not do that right now because I'm in my feelings. Not enough like you like me. Anyway, yeah, so I think I made my point where that is concerned. And I'm just inviting my critical thinkers to change the narrative by changing the mindset. Progress can only take place when we change the mindset, when we critically assess at each stage and a reassessment takes place. And it is done with integrity. It is done with constitutional principles that ensure that we don't do things because somebody is rich or because somebody is important, or we don't do it because we are so politically enslaved that we could be a security guard who decide that because me is a labor, right, I gotta just diss the MP. Me no vote for him and me no want nothing from him and me no care if him gonna bring medical supplies to a health fair. Me gonna just diss him. Yeah, that is the kind of ignorant behavior that I'm not even gonna call it out because as I said earlier, let me tie everything together. You may find that your conduct will cause people to lose their blessing. Cain was jealous of Abel. And if you watch the Cain and Abel story in the way that King Tavi narrated it, his interpretation, it's very profound. Because there are people that will not consider to give you their best, but upset at others for doing their best and giving their best, and is not prepared to ever in life, whether you are dead or alive, to put the effort that you would put into it. And I said to someone, not calling any names. So I'm not gonna call Reese name, I'm not gonna call Gardner name. But I was having the conversation, and I said, there is one of the things that I admire about my profession, and disclaimer, not the politics thing. You don't need to have any qualification at all. You don't even need to read and write to be a politician. So when I say profession, we're not taught that, respectfully. The noble profession that is law. Let me just explain something to you. And one of its appreciation that I have for being a part of that profession. And why I submerge myself into this profession. Here is it. No boy or no girl can get up and take up a keyboard and say, me I gotta be lawyer today. You might can do it on social media, but you have to go and do the training. And even you have those who get the degree and can't go no further. Them can't go through the vigorous law school and bar exams that come with it. Many people that the race is not for the swift, is for who can endure it. So when no matter how people feel about me now, whether them say me is a butu or me is a this or whatever, when it comes to being able to put on your clothes and go into a room knowing that you never just do it because you think you're bright. You did it because you have a practicing certificate that accompanies a good character certificate. Elements of good character is your integrity, which must remain intact. It's not just a fly-by-night thing. And so we must not cause people or cause society to decay to facilitate delusions. We coming, Jamaica was on a path, to the point where Michael Manley had to ball out free education, and a lot of the people who are the policy pushers in this country benefited from the free education. But you see, the free education, even up to tertiary, meant that we used to be a bright nation. And so we need to get back to that space. And we need to take and respect professions as they come. I is a man that can't tell a carpenter how to do him work. I is a man that you watch my videos, you will never see me talk about me a jump up in on a roller, about me a roll road and jump up and talk about me a operate tractor, unless me's a tractor operator, and just showing that I have that skill. Well, I'm not going to do performative. I respect people for the work that they do, and I don't downplay, because I can tell you, I am from a house that my helper, Faye, wherever she is, when I was in law school, she was prepared to pay my school fee when I lost my job. But my parents said, "What that's you to do," and they did this. I'm watching the clouds, and it looked like, anyway, I can't explain it, but things going on in the clouds right now. Anyway, yeah. So that appreciation is something I have to share, because it also informs the idea of policy, advocacy, and a mission. It's so important. It's important that you appreciate what I'm saying. Yeah. Somebody says free Cairo. Cairo is free. That's interesting. Yeah, man. Nothing before the time, man. So that's one chapter closed. Yeah. So I would have said that. So in closing, my people, because we have 12 minutes, and I'm reading the comments and I'm seeing everything, and I will invite, in an effort to not suffer from stagnation, or for your space, your life to not experience a stagnant existence. Choose progress and choose upward mobility. It means that you have to have a mindset to be progressive. It means that you have to appreciate the nuances in, whether it be law, the nuances in medical treatment, the advancements and changes, improvements in the jurisprudence. And even to young lawyers, you're not becoming a lawyer to regurgitate. You're becoming a lawyer to bring fresh eyes and fresh ideas to archaic thoughts and views, and with a progressive constitution to ensure that you move your society forward, and your society and your environment, which is the Caribbean jurisprudence, is important to the existence and advancement of the Caribbean people. I can only share that in all of the comic and exaggeration and all the literary tools used in literature for those who love literature. Absent that, go back to reading, not just being lazy and listening and letting your computer read for you. Use your eyes, pick up words, find its meaning, become witty, be someone that fornicates with language, and appreciate the interpretation of somebody else's creation, a rethinking and a reimagining of that which was before, because there's nothing new under the sun. But sometimes fresh eyes and an interpretation will change your mindset and open up your mind to envision something greater. And then then you will realize that impossible is nothing. Then you'll take on tasks that you never thought you could. And when stumbling blocks come in your way, and I'm going to share with you again, it is yesterday, not today, no. Yesterday, I experienced in real time my personal growth. As I said, I woke up yesterday, went to Port Antonio Hospital, delivered two striker beds that's worth $10 million. And I promise you, I never spend $1 of my money. It is advocacy and people's passion for the work that I am doing. When I say I'm bringing the heat, that could allow the people of Portland. Yes, your mother and your granny and your grandfather, and maybe even you, if God forbid something happened to you, you don't have to sit down in a pan one tough bench like a court you're there as a defendant. You can get a bed and lay down in it, and if you're too sick to lift up your head, the bed can press and lift up for you. And it makes healthcare easier. The hard-working nurses and hospital orderlies who are there to help you, it makes their life easier. And they don't have to work three times as hard to give you service because they have the tools in 2026 to help you. But after experiencing this gratification to know that I think I did something great, and we sat in rooms and I saw nurses and physiotherapists and execs happy because they know the beds are expensive and they have to budget to purchase this. And I was able to say, and I have 10 more coming for you. And at the end of it, when I saw that message that one of the charities pulled out and the manner in which they pulled out, I stopped and I said, I am seeing this as a blessing from God because something greater is going to come. And I never, if anybody know about me, I don't suffer in silence, I speak out and I speak my truth. So I just started to tell people, and as I said, I spoke to a doctor, and he says, I admire the way that you're taking this because you're not upset and you're just trying to process how are you going to make sure that you keep your promise to the people of Portland. And guess what? They said, I will donate some of that money, $10,000. And they gave two. And I said it in the earshot of my father. He might go vex call me, I blow him up. But always my father is my biggest supporter. And he also gave two. So I'm at four. Gonna raise the rest between now and Tuesdays because I will not lose those beds because I can tell you, I know why those beds would, if I lose those beds, I know who will get it. And the political landscape is unfortunate because you're not disenfranchising me, you're disenfranchising the people, and that's why I'm here, because I will not allow it as a human rights attorney. And I'm just using my platform to speak on it, and watch when I update you. When it's all said and done, me now ask Christ, those beds are going to be delivered. And as Colin said to me in conversation, which is one of the charities that's doing the work in the planning, we having acquired the beds. One dancer now stop the production. Let me put it that way there. So nobody no say. But you know the saying. Only now stop this show. It must go on. And so much respect to everybody that is assisting and participating, because Portland, for years to come, people gonna look back and say how Portland do it, and people and the rest of them out there going like on now do what they're supposed to do, and I waste taxpayers' money and I deal with performative politics. But them say God now sleep, and me always say God on time. Again, very, very, very reminding people, respect the Constitution. Human rights is for everybody. Very, 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 very happy about the jurisprudence in the Tesha Miller case. We did say this is the conclusion, me now ask Christ. We are going to continue to improve the jurisprudence and use this as a marker that there will be no retrial in that matter. 2, we will have a conversation about how our tourists and citizens are treated, Commonwealth citizens are treated in Jamaican space, and whether the function of the law was to create criminals out of ordinary citizens. The answer to that, I will tell you, is no. We are going to continue to improve Portland. And I did always say that if it was not going to be, if PNP didn't form the government, nothing would stop the progress that was going to be made in Portland. And so mindset is that which is important. I even now I can tell you I can thank the Moral Foundation, Ashe Foundation, the Pennant Hill Foundation, Miyasaka, Guide Outreach, and the many other individuals who have partnered with me as a member of parliament. And our foundations and our charities will do a lot of the lifting. And so every opportunity that I get, I will continue to advocate for improvement and betterment of my Jamaican people. And that me I go call them. When you can't take that from me, I'm a son of Jamaica. And while people can say whatever they want, I will return everything with kindness, right? That is what is important. And for anybody that need road and water in Sherwood Forest and wherever, those things is government. And while we advocate, if you're out of water, the office is located at Smart Road. You go to the office and you make sense, because you don't, if you have to be on my platform, it means you don't have my number. It means chances are you never interface with me, and the conclusion is we know why. But the office is for everybody. Don't sit there and not have water, and don't tell the member of parliament through his office, because there is system in place to provide water for you. And for those of you all across Jamaica, if you never know, if water is not in your pipe and you are a customer of the National Water Commission, they are supposed to truck water to you for free, right? So let that know. One thing you must also understand: if you're not a customer, you need to educate yourself to find out whether the water system is for parish council or you don't have one at all. It's a different system, and we have to know where it's coming. But water is essential to life. Water is roaming rampant across Portland. If you don't have water, ask, and some shall be provided to you. But you have to reach out. That is what I will say. And in terms of the road, remember, I did tell government is responsible for road. To hold them responsible for road, them all want to do what is known as the One Road Authority and all of that. So don't make no member of parliament tricking and go on like say a them a do road. Some of them not no money. Me not no money for do no road. And when me take my money the last time and did I fill up the holes, the people them say, how dare you touch the road? It is only the government. And the Prime Minister said to you, young Buchanan, let me tell you something. I used to be like you when I was a young member of parliament. You soon learn. Don't make them people down there. See, we did have one down there on Wally Road, she dance pan, and then vote her out, because I know she did do the road, and me do the road. And the Prime Minister says, so no me. I know me say it, and him say it. Him say, any MP out there going like a them or do road, young Buchanan, make me tell Jamaica, me, the Prime Minister, me do road, government do road. No make no MP dance on the road and say, them do the road. So you see when you go down there, so me just make my video and say, see the road them here what them do? I eat this. I don't say, oh, here's the road that I did. This is the road that I built. Nope. Now get that from me. So stick to the issues. This platform is to improve and educate. This platform is to put in context. And this is to free you from the political shackles that some of you are under. Lift up and rise up yourself. If you say no water no in your pipe, river them out, you don't have no excuse. While we work to get the water, people have to know that you don't have water. Yes? So I think that I've said that, and this is context matters for you, because we could have talked till all 10 o'clock, but the show is only 2 hours. So if you're on Best FM, time run out, drive safe. If you're on Reggae Global Radio, the next program I'm going to start now, the drive safe. If you're on YouTube, we are going to wrap up right now. So that's what's happening, all right? So yeah. Really? Are that going? Okay. All right. Yeah. And again, see you guys next week for another version of Context Matters, where current affairs will guide what it is that we listen to. But thank you all so much for tuning in. Without you, I'd be here by myself doing a monologue with no audience. And for those of you who was cursing me out, I didn't have my glasses on, so I couldn't read nothing you were saying. So, but God bless you and go with you. Big up yourself.
It took some time to understand, yeah, just what it takes to be a man. Now it seems each day you learn something to make a better way. Growing up ain't just a phase, it's reality. And sometimes it's hard to face the world with your head screwed on. But in time you will see, it comes naturally, like the hurt and the pain. It's a part of the game. It's all a part of life, to laugh and to cry. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way. But if you need a helping hand, just call on me, I will be your friend. And when it gets hard to face the world with your head screwed on, just tell yourself you can. And that's when you'll understand that the hurt and the pain, it's a part of the game. It's all a part of life, to laugh and to cry. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. You gotta keep on moving on. Don't let no one stand in your way. Gotta keep on pressing on. As we pray for better days, keep it moving. Moving to the next. When they try to bring you down, we gotta take it to the next level when they come around. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. Just keep your head up, yeah. Just keep your head up, yeah. Gotta keep your head up, yeah. 'Cause everything's gonna be alright. 'cause everything